The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It always seems impossible until it's done. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination, for to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Resentment is like drinking poison, and then hoping it will kill your enemies. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. The only source of knowledge is experience. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Logic will get you from a to be, imagination will take you everywhere. Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Listen to the wind, it talks. Listen to the silence, it speaks. Listen to your heart, it knows. Those who have 1 foot in the canoe and 1 foot in the boat are going to fall into the river. Don't be afraid to cry. It will free your mind of sorrowful thoughts. Man's law changes with his understanding of man. Only the laws of the Spirit remain always the same. When you were born, you cry, and the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Tell me and I'll forget. Show me and I may not remember. Involve me and I'll understand. Those who have power have to resist abusing it. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. The most powerful relationship you will ever have is the relationship with yourself. Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we'll ever do. You are enough just as you are. Believe you can and you're halfway there. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Don't compromise yourself. You're all you've got. To find yourself, think for yourself. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led by the dreams in your heart. Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Fear not death, for the hour of your doom is set, and none may escape it. Do not wait for the sea to part, or the mountains to move. If you wait for someone else to lead, you will always be behind. Cattle die, kinsmen die, and you too shall die. But one thing I know that never dies, the fame of a dead man's deeds. Only a fool longs for life, knowing that death is the beginning of immortality. Better to fight and fall than to live without hope. The sword is the gift of the warrior. The spear is the gift of the leader. The club is the gift of the farmer. And the flail is the gift of the slave. A man is his own master at home. All become slaves when he leaves it. He who is generous is the one who receives the most. Wealth is a source of discord among kin. The wolf lives in the forest. A brave man's death is never lamented. It's better to fight and fall than to live without hope. I'd rather be exposed to the inconveniences, attending to much liberty, and to those attending to small a degree of it. A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut. The strength of the mafia is in its loyalty to each other. Family is more than blood. It's the people who've earned your loyalty. In a world full of sharks, be a killer whale. Trust no one. Tell your secrets to nobody, and no one betrays you. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Fear is more powerful than love. It's not personal, it's strictly business. The most dangerous creation of any society is a man who has nothing to lose. There are 3 ways of doing things around here: the right way, the wrong way, and the way that I do it. Once you're in the family, you're in. You can't just walk away. The strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team. In a world full of sheep, be a wolf. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. All warfare is based on deception. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service, for his sovereign is the jewel of the kingdom. The greatest warriors are those who excel at winning without fighting. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. The good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. If you are far from the enemy, make him believe you are near. When strong, avoid them. If of high morale, depress them. Seem humble to fill them with conceit. If at ease, exhaust them. If united, separate them. The greatest way to gain victory over the enemy is to attack them where they are not prepared to defend. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong, and to strike at what is weak. Invincibility lies in the defense, the possibility of victory. In the attack, the greatest wisdom is to realize one's lack of it. Importance of preparation. The significance of thorough preparation before engaging in any endeavor. Understanding oneself and the situation at hand is crucial for success. Know your enemy or obstacle. The importance of understanding your opponent or obstacle. Knowledge about them can provide valuable insights to overcome challenges. Deception and strategy. The use of deception and strategic maneuvers to gain an advantage over opponents. This doesn't necessarily mean dishonesty, but rather employing tactics that make opponents uncertain of your intentions. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls, and others build windmills. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. He who asks is a fool for 5 minutes, but he who does not ask remains a fool forever. If you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. The more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in war. Time flows away like the water in a river. Opportunity knocks at the door only once. Haste is the enemy of success. A diamond with a flaw is worth more than a pebble. Without imperfections, a book is like a garden carried in the pocket. The person who removes a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. A wise man makes his own decisions, and ignorant man follows public opinion. Do not fear going forward slowly, fear only to stand still. Silence is a source of great strength. Subscribe channel for more videos.